What is up, everybody? It is yard sale time. Yep, happy Friday, so it's going to be time for some yard sales. Stay tuned after I will go through everything, and I'll show you off what I got here later on. See you in a while. All right, so after having a lot of fun going out to some yard sales at a community yard sale this evening, I walked away with a ton of stuff. Oh, yeah. Loads of movies, lots of books, and some pretty cool collector's items. So what are they? Well, let's go ahead and dig through with what we got. So let's just dig through all the movies that we got. So, first off, we have a movie that I've never actually seen before, and I know of it, but I've never actually really seen it. We have Wolfgang Petersen's The Never-Ending Story. Yeah, most of these DVDs that I got were like about 50 cents a piece to a quarter to even 10 cents a piece. Yeah, I'm not joking. So up next, we have a horror film, which I have never really seen. All I know is that one of the actresses in this show, or rather this film, is from Game of Thrones and also the Hunger Games franchise. We have The Forest, yeah, with the slipcover nonetheless. So yeah, it looks sounding interesting. So I'm like, yeah, why not? It's only a quarter. So, so up next, we have, let's see here. Well, a multi-pack. Yeah. Can't go wrong with multi-packs. So, let's get this plastic out of here real quick. There we go. Alright, so first of all, so we have 6 disasters at land and sea. Yeah. Which includes Storm, the Poseidon Adventure, The President's Plane is Missing, 2103, The Deadly Wake, Death Flight, and The Triangle, which, let's see, is that the... Okay, that is not the Bryan Singer version of it, so... Yeah, so, yeah, like I said, we've got a lot of stuff to go through here. So, up next, a Robert Redford film that I've never seen, but it sounded interesting because it has an all-star cast, including Robert Redford himself, as well as Helen Mirren and Willem Dafoe in The Clearing. Yeah. I think I only paid like 25 cents for it, so I'm like, okay, we'll give it a try. So here, up next, we have a John Wayne movie to add to the collection. Yeah. This one is where he basically is a professional game hunter set in Africa. We have Atari. Yeah. Like I said, directed by Howard Hawks, nonetheless. But not only that, screenplay by Lee Brackett. For those of you who don't know who she is, she wrote the very first draft of The Empire Strikes Back. So yeah, little film history there. So up next, we have one of the films of the franchise. It's kind of like, if you like movies like, National Treasure, that type of thing. However, though, directed by none other than Jonathan Frakes, Riker himself, we have Noah Wiley from ER in The Librarian and The Curse of the Judas Chalice. So, yeah, sounded interesting. I'm like, that's one of those adventure-type movies. Give it a try. So what do we got up next? Got a whole buttload of stuff. So, yeah. Let's go back to the 80s for a brief minute. I've only seen, I think, one of these movies, but I don't know which one it was. All I know is that it was one of those cheesy 80s martial art movies, and apparently there was a franchise of it, starring none other than Michael Dudikoff. We have the first American Ninja. Yeah. Now I gotta track down the other, I think there's like 5 of them or something like that, but I'm like, I know there's actually, I think like a couple of special edition versions that came out on Blu-ray that I want to get. So up next, we have a reacquisition. I had this movie a long time ago, and I think I ended up selling it or something like that. But we have from Spielberg, we have Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio in Catch Me If You Can. But probably the coolest thing about this is that now I think it's a collector item because it has that good old Blockbuster sticker, as well as it's also inside of a Blockbuster case. Yeah, look at that right there. Good old Blockbuster. So, up next, we have one to add to the Doctor Who collection. Yes, I have not shown off my Doctor Who collection yet, because I'm very slowly getting it, and they are expensive. So we have from the John Pertwee years, which I believe he is the fourth Doctor, I believe. I'm not quite familiar with Doctor Who, but I am learning. We have Doctor Who and the Three Doctors. Yeah, so that would definitely go into the Doctor Who collection very, very shortly. So up next, we have a film that stars, well, the first ever Punisher that I ever saw in theaters. We have Thomas Jane in Stander. Yeah, it sounds like a pretty cool, action film with him in it. So I'm like, why not give it a try? I think I only paid 50 cents for that. So up next, we have a military movie. Yes, this one sounded interesting because it has William H. Macy in a role that I've never really seen him in. But we also do have Till Schweiger, who's been in a lot of movies. He's just kind of one of those character actors that you don't really, pay that much attention to. I'll give it a shot. Why not? It was only a quarter. So we have William H. Macy in Enemy Hands. Yeah, I'm like, why not? Gotta add a movie to the war collection. So up next, we have a movie that I've never seen. I've heard great things about it, and it's kind of a role that I didn't even think Owen Wilson was even in, because I know he's mostly known for comedic stuff. But we have Owen Wilson and James Bond himself, Pierce Brosnan, in No Escape. Yeah. At first, when I saw the title, I'm like, oh, is this the Martin Campbell movie? Did I finally get it? No, not that one. Up next, I've heard great things about this movie. I have never actually seen it. Let's see if I can get this sticker off of here first, because I hate when people take stickers off of stuff. There we go. So up next, we have a classic film directed by one of the best directors ever, Rob Reiner, who's done The Princess Bride, obviously, lots of other great movies. Probably his best movie, though, we have with a very young Will Wheaton and River Phoenix in Stand By Me, the special edition. Yep. I've never seen this movie, and I know some people may comment, you've never seen that? No, I haven't. So up next, we have a movie with Mark Wahlberg. It sounded interesting, and it also has Kate Beckinsale in it. Yeah, Celine herself. We have from a director who I've never heard of. It sounded interesting, but I'm like, why not? We have Mark Wahlberg in Contraband. Yeah. So up next, now this movie, I know people flack on this movie, and it's kind of meh. But, it's basically MMA, basically movie, and I'm like, I only paid 10 cents for it, so I'm like, what do I care? We have Never Back Down, so why not? So up next, let's see here. Yep, that'll be for later. So up next, we have a movie with Ewan McGregor that I have never seen. It sounded interesting, but it's a thriller with, not only that, also co-stars Ashley Judd in Eye of the Beholder. So, yeah. This movie. I used to have this DVD a long time ago, and I think either it got lost or it got damaged at some point. But what can I say? I'm just glad to have it back in the collection because I remember going to see this movie when it was out. We have, sadly, the only film adaptation from this old school TV show. We have Lost in Space. Yeah, I love this movie. I think it's really, really good. I know a lot of people bash on it because it's meh, but I'm like, I don't really care. It's good. So up next, I got this for $1, this double deck set. Now, I do have these movies already, but I do not have it in this really cool packaging, which is, I think I only paid like 50 cents or 75 cents for this, but this must have been released when, I think when the Scorpion King was coming out around the time, I believe. I don't know. But here we have the Mummy Collection, which is really cool because it's all nice and it's embossed, and you get the key port there, and then on top, the spine. That's also embossed too, which is really cool. And on the back there, here you have, both the Mummy and the Mummy Returns. Both of them widescreen. I mean, yeah, like I said, I've seen these movies before. Obviously I have different editions of them, but sometimes it's the packaging sometimes that actually makes it more collectible. So up next, movie I do have on Blu-ray, but I don't have on DVD. Mind you, this movie was, 10 cents. I kid you not. And I'm just going to leave it on there to show you it is 10 cents. So we have probably one of the better comic book movie adaptations to film. But not only that, though, probably one of the best movies I've ever seen. We have, from Matthew Vaughn, we have Kick-Ass. Yeah. And I kid you not. See that right there? 10 cents. 10 freaking cents. Such an amazing, amazing movie. And, God, I mean, it sucks that we won't get the trilogy, though. I mean, it really does. I really was hoping that we would get the, the trilogy done. But unfortunately, I don't think that'll ever happen. So up next, we have a movie that I used to own a long time ago, and I sold it. And I forgot how good of a movie it was. And at the time, I was really enjoying listening to one of the actors that's in this movie. Famous comedian. But not only that, though, it has probably one of the creepiest roles that this actor has ever done. So, we have Kevin Costner and none other than comedian Dane Cook in Mr. Brooks. Yeah, really awesome thriller of a movie. Such a good film. I forgot how good this movie was. If you have not seen this, watch it. Because he kind of gives like one of these rare performances where he's a very serious actor. And I'm like, I'll have to actually give it a try. And I watched it at the time, and it was awesome. So, up next, we have, also for 10 cents, mind you. Yep, hear me pulling off the tape. 10 cents, we have a Michael Douglas thriller. Nope, it's not Basic Instinct. But they're made kind of around that time, or a little later in his career. But we have Michael Douglas in Don't Say a Word. Now, that movie I've never seen. This movie, for 10 cents, what can I say? It's definitely worth 10 cents because I remember how much hype this movie was getting, because I used to work at a movie theater when they were promoting this movie, and it was being promoted the living hell out of for the Fathom events, pre-screening stuff that would show up. Based on a true story, probably one of the better based on a true story movies. And sadly, I think it's one of the only few movies that, we don't really get the theme of that much anymore. We have Jim Sturgis and Lawrence Fishburne with Kevin Spacey in 21. Yeah, I remember watching the trailer for this. God, this movie was so good when it came out. It was so good. So, 10 cents for this movie, well, what can I say? I mean, it's definitely worth the 10 cents, because you're going to watch it. I know people bash on it, but you know what? I don't care. This movie is so original. And you can definitely tell it's a huge anime influence. And I'm like this movie is basically stuff that you think about when you're a kid. Well, what about this? What about that? Let's just throw it all in a blender. We have from Zack Snyder, we have Sucker Punch. Yep. For 10 cents. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to pass that up for 10 cents. Yes, I have it on Blu-ray, but I'm like, I got to have a DVD copy of it because, not a lot of places I go to, whenever I camp especially, have Blu-ray players. That's why I usually take my laptop. So up next, also for 10 cents, yes, 10 cents, probably one of the best female-led action movies. No, it's not Underworld, but it's good enough. Basically, from awesome French director Luc Besson, we have Zoe Saldana in Colombiana. This movie kicks major ass. It really does. I kid you not, 10 cents. I mean, sure it wasn't directed by Luc Besson, but it was written by him. And I tell you what, though, he knows how to write a good movie. He really does. So up next, now even though it says I got this for a quarter, they actually piled a bunch of it together and just gave it all to me for like 50 cents. So I'm like, hey, sweet. So I literally got like 10 movies for 50 cents. A double feature, which I have never seen. I've heard there are great things about it, and the funny thing is, I'm just now realizing this. These have never been watched. It's still in the original plastic. We have a double feature with none other than Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke and Still Smoking. I have never seen these movies. I know they're nuts, but I kid you not. Look at that. Still in the original plastic. Never been watched. So, I know I may get a comment saying, you never watched those? No, I haven't. There are some stuff that I have not watched at all. And finally, this is the last of the DVDs. 2 seasons of this show, which I have heard so many great things about, but I never really got a chance to watch it when it was on TV way back in the day. And I know it ran for 8 seasons, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So, yep, who is, so here we have actor Hugh Laurie as House. Yeah, season 1 for 50 cents. I kid you not. I'm like, dude, you can't beat that price. Sadly, they had that. Wish they had the others, but that's okay. Beggars can't be choosers. But not only that, it's the first season, so I cannot wait to sit down and watch this. And finally, even though it said that there was $1 on it, they decided just to give it to me for 50 cents. I'm like, okay. And here we have House Season 2. Yeah, so the first 2 seasons of House. So what can I say? That's some pretty good finds right there just by itself. So now, on to the books. Yeah, this is going to be a fairly long video, so glad you all are sticking with me here. So first up, let's see. Let's get the movie-based books out of the way first. So yeah. So first up, we have this awesome hardcover book, which the people who let me get it, they decided, just take it for 50 cents. I'm like, okay. From Jane Goldman, we have the hardcover edition of the X-Files, the Book of the Unexplained, Volume 1. I'm like, sweet. I love X-Files. I mean, who doesn't? I mean, come on. Loaded with information, stories, books, pictures, what have you. I can't wait to sit down and read it. So up next, we have managed to find this. Actually, I got this for free, actually. I've never actually seen this movie. I haven't, but I've never actually watched it. We have the novelization, which features pictures, which you don't really see in books hardly anymore. We have the novelization of John Travolta's Saturday Night Fever. Yeah, look at that, by H.B. Gilmore. So yeah, can't wait to sit down and read that. So let's see. So up next, here we have a book that became basically one of the best movies ever made by Michael Mann, based on a true individual, but portrayed, you know, what can I say? Portrayed basically so well done by Johnny Depp. There's nobody else who could portray this character as well as he did. We have Brian Burrows' Public Enemies. Yeah. I remember when this movie came out. God, I was so excited to see this movie, and it was so good. So good. It's almost like it's like a perfect gangster movie, especially if you love that type of stuff. So up next, a couple of, well, actually the rest are all horror novels, actually. One that I do not have, I mean, unfortunately the spine's a little bit beat up, but I'm like, for 50 cents, why not? It's got the older, artwork on it and stuff. Yeah, it's a little bit beat up, but I'm like, for 50 cents, why the hell not? We have, from horror writer, legend himself, Stephen King, If The Dark Half. Yeah, for 50 cents, I'm like, why not? Gotta add it to my Stephen King collection, because I think it's like one of the only few books of his that I do not have from his earlier works. And finally, for Stephen King, we have, I know this book has been out for a while, but it is, I believe it is the, kind of the reboot or the remake of it, or something like that, or at least the front cover is. We have, well, actually, I think this might be the TV series remake, I believe, because I'm not recognizing the front cover. But we have, actually, yeah, this is the remake, because it's, or the cover is the remake, because it is produced by James Wan. We have Salem's Lot. Yeah, I've never actually read this novel. I think it's the one that has that weird guy with the vampire teeth, and it was like that, or whichever one's in the front cover, I guess. So now up next, these three books, I was kind of surprised that they actually had them. I remember reading these books when I was a kid, and I was like, holy crap, these are actually good. And I didn't even realize that they were really that scary, per se, but I'm like, the artwork's kind of weird and creepy, but I'm like, I'm glad to actually have all of these in my, book collection. So first up, we have Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Yeah. I remember, like I said, I remember reading these, when I was a kid and stuff like that. And I think I had only had the first one, for a while. And then I think I sold it at some point. Or it's just got lost in time or something like that. But, what can I say, though? It's glad to actually finally have this back into the collection. Up next, we have more Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Yeah, the second one. And what can I say? They're all short, they're weird, they're creepy. I'm like, good old times. Back in the good old days when we actually sat down and read a book and we didn't use a little device to hold into our hands. And finally, the final book. We have Scary Stories 3. Yeah, more tales to chill your bones. So yeah, look at that. All three novels right here in the collection. $0.25 a piece. Yeah, there we go. And finally, the collector's items that I found. Now, check these out one at a time. They are all wrapped up here in plastic bags to protect them. And eventually they're going to go inside my case. That way they don't get destroyed or damaged. So I was at this one particular yard sale, and the guy had these there, and he decided he's been trying to get rid of stuff. You know what? Take all three of these for $1. I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, I'm trying to get rid of them. I have 5 of these sets sitting around. I'm trying to get rid of them. I'm like, okay. We have these really awesome glasses from the 1976 adaptation of King Kong. Yeah, from yeah, these are like the limited editions, and I'm not sure if you can actually see that very well. Yeah, it shows up fairly well, but yeah, look at that limited edition. And God, I mean, no, but they just they don't make stuff like this anymore. I mean, these are rare, these are hard to find, and you're gonna have to mind me because I'm gonna have to put this back up in the plastic so that way they don't get damaged. So I apologize if you hear plastic wrapping all over the place while I'm trying to talk. So next here we have the second one. These are so freaking cool. I love it. And so we have this one here with Kong destroying the train. That happens I believe that happens towards the end of the film. Which this is, God, this is so cool. These really are, because, like I said, you just don't find stuff like this anymore. And when you do, these things are collector's items. They really are. The guy told me that when I bought these, that there's actually 4 of them, but he actually did not have the 4th one. So if I ever do find the 4th one, then I will actually have all 4 of the collector's cups. Let's wrap that back up here in plastic. And finally, the last one here. Yeah, King Kong, what can I say? I mean, that movie's awesome. Yes, they've changed a few things around here and there, but, what are you going to do? And finally, so here we have King Kong there on top of the Twin Towers. Yeah, he didn't go on top of the Empire State Building. He went on to the Twin Towers for this particular film. And this, I believe, is actually the original poster art that they used for the film. So yeah, I mean, you can't beat that. I mean, literally 3 awesome classic cups for literally $1. I'm like, holy crap, dude. I'm like, are you insane? He's like, I'm just trying to get rid of it. I'm like, okay. So sure enough, float your boat. So, like they say, one man's junk is another man's treasure. So yeah, that's pretty much set all this stuff to the side here. So yeah, that completes this basically yard sale goodie video that I found. I don't really go to a whole lot of them, but when I do, I love to go to community sales because you never know what you're going to find. So yeah, so with that, remember to please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. I'll get back to you. Thanks for all those who have been subscribing and enjoying the content. There will be more content. However, though, I may be taking a short rest because I will be going on vacation here in the next week. And I don't know if I will actually have the time to shoot stuff, but if I do, they will be posted maybe at some point while I'm down there on wherever I'm at going on vacation. Or it will be posted afterward. I will try to either that or I'll try to upload some content and stuff and have it set set to upload while I'm away. So with that, take care, stay safe out there, and I will talk to you later. See you.